Hey, gals, gays, and theys, my name is StarlightSam, and if you know anything about me, you know that I have a dumb American action brain that loves shooty bang bang games. My most played games are Rainbow Six Siege, Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Warzone, and Warframe. As a result, I tend to gravitate away from things that are 2D, card-based, or turn-based, and that also means I'm not a big fan of roguelikes, as most roguelikes fall within those genres to some extent. So, you know a game is good when it makes me enjoy an entirely different genre that I generally prefer to avoid. And Risk of Rain 2 is just that good. Risk of Rain 2 had an early access release in March of 2019, and it was fully released in August of 2020. Despite being an early access game, I bought it basically as soon as it was put out in the Steam store, and immediately fell in love with it. I only got it because there was a recommendation from a couple of my friends who had played the first game, I had not, and thought I would enjoy it. It quickly became a staple of the server I was in, playing it a couple times a week for a few weeks. Once we moved on to another game, it was one of those comfy games we'd return to every once in a while when COD and Overwatch were too stressful and frustrating. And then, a year and a half later, the full game was released, and with it, a whole swath of extra content that hadn't been in the game before, content that made a fantastic base game even better. Like I said before, Risk of Rain 2 is a roguelike, but it is also a third-person shooter, meaning it combines all the great qualities of a roguelike with the action of shooting, meaning my dumb monkey brain is satisfied. Once you boot the game, you're greeted with a number of options: single-player, multiplayer, alternate game modes, logbook, music and more, and obviously settings. Single-player and multiplayer are essentially the same game modes, meaning the entire game is playable with your friends. The lobby size is meant to be capped at 4, but on PC you can easily increase the lobby size up to 16 using the console commands, so round up your friends. Once you're all in the lobby, you get to pick your character. Every character has different abilities and strengths, and all of them have a large variety of playstyles. You have to unlock all the characters, but the majority of their challenges are fun and simple enough that they feel worth it. Except for this fucking little bit. Once you unlock the characters, you can do additional challenges to unlock different abilities for them. Characters are as follows: Commando, the Soldier 76 of Risk of Rain 2, Huntress, the auto-aim glass cannon, and Best Girl. Multi, Bastion on wheels with just as much DPS. Engineer, Torb, but actually useful. Wait, why does Overwatch have such basic character design so you can find them in basically any other game? Artificer, another glass cannon with even less mobility but even more DPS. Mercenary, Genji. Jesus Christ, I fucking Overwatch reference. Do I have any other jokes? Rex. Fuck you. Loader, an alien reference that is mixed with Saitama. Acrid, this adorable little toxic pupper who's just a very good boy. And Captain, an absolute twunk. No, I will not be taking criticism at this time. Now you choose your difficulty. You have 3 options: Cakewalk, how the game was meant to be played, and oh my Jesus God, Jesus fucking Christ, I'm going to fucking die. There are a million fucking wisps. We're only on stage 1. Why am I not healing? Jesus fucking Christ. Once you've picked your difficulty and everyone has their character, you can now drop into the game. Literally. You fall out of the sky in these little pods, then pop out of your pods, and enemies will start spawning. As you kill enemies, they drop money. Money is universal, so you don't need to worry about kill stealing. And now, here comes the best part of the game: items. Once you get enough money, you can open up little chests on the ground. Items will drop from these chests with difficult buffs and added abilities. Something about this game that makes it so unique is how the items interact with how you play. You stack items infinitely, with many of their strengths also stacking infinitely. This means you can stack crazy amounts of items to create insane effects. This also means that every playthrough will be different. You can clear out a level, do a teleporter event and kill a boss, and then proceed to the next level. And repeat. Alright, so the premise seems good, but what makes the game so amazing? Well, the item system, with the way it plays, makes it something that offers both challenge and a satisfying experience that isn't hair-pulling. Movement feels amazing, and items only make it feel better. Your character abilities are fun, flashy, and destructive, and as you keep adding items, the game keeps feeling better and better, and it's an addictive feeling. You constantly are craving that high of finding more and more items to make yourself stronger and stronger. Oh, Sam, wait, what's this little thing in the corner screen that you haven't talked about? Well, that bar keeps ticking down more and more, and as more time passes, you progress onto harder and harder difficulties automatically. More enemies spawn with more health and more damage, along with elite enemies that deal even more damage and can also apply status effects. Say you've got a great run going. You and your buddies are on stage 12, you've been playing for 2 hours. Well, what do you do now? Where does it end? Well, I mean, it's up to you. The game gives you several options. Either play until everybody dies, reach a certain stage where you can peacefully end the run, or reach a certain stage where you can get the true story ending in the game. On stage 5, you end up at Sky Meadow, where you are faced with a special teleporter. With the teleporter, you can either loop around again and return to stage 10, or you can continue to the final boss. Go through the teleporter and you're brought to the moon. Here you fight the final boss of the game, who proves himself to be difficult no matter what your build is. I don't want to spoil too much about this fight, but it's a satisfying ending for a satisfying game. The boss was one of the things added in a 1.0 release, and I think he was a perfect addition. Along with the final boss, the devs also added artifacts to the game. Essentially, while playing, you get the chance to unlock these game-changing add-ons that can be applied before the start of a run. They can do things like add friendly fire, increase enemy spawns, make fall damage lethal, spawn doppelgangers of yourself that you must fight, and much more. They're relatively easy to unlock and can make your runs even more challenging or just fun in different ways. Personally, I love the sacrifice command Batman Swarms combo, which makes it so you can choose your items, enemies have a chance of dropping items on death, along with making there be twice as many enemies that have health. This combo allows you to have some crazy long fun runs where you can choose your build instead of allowing RNG to make it for you. On a technical level, the game passes all the tests with flying colors. It's optimized well, meaning it can run on weaker machines, and although it isn't insanely visually detailed, the style of the game makes up for it. The cell shading and interesting but minimalist character designs, bright colors, and gorgeous effects make it a very visually cohesive game that is as satisfying to look at as it is to play. The sound design is amazing as well, with extremely unique sounds for every ability, sounds that are super memorable. If I hear the sound of an elite beetle guard crawling out of the ground behind me, I know to get the fuck out of there before I get shredded. Oh, and the music in this game, it's pretty good. It's not the best music in the world, obviously, but it's catchy. It fits the tone of the game, and makes good background noise for the sci-fi setting. The only downside is because you're playing for such a long time, if you go to a bunch of the same stages, the music will end up being the same because the music only really changes with the stages. But that also means there's different music for every stage. Here, have some examples. Sam, you say? All the things you said about this game have been positive. Isn't there something you don't like about it? Well, I mean, honestly, not really. I think there are some things that could use tweaking, like how drastically the difficulty scales when you add more people, but in terms of bugs or general gameplay issues, I don't really have any. I would love to see more content, but the content in the game has been enough for me to pump 60 plus hours into it, constantly craving more regardless. There are always challenges to do, new items to unlock, new character abilities to unlock, and even with 60 hours, I'm still missing lots of items and logs. Oh, and while the story in the game isn't integral to the gameplay, it still clearly had lots of care put into it, and is fun to read regardless. Every item, every enemy, every stage has a log page, and they're all very cute and very fun to read, and you get to look at the fantastic models while reading. So if I had to give this game a rating, I would probably give it, like, the highest rating I've ever given a game, like a 92 out of 100. A very small amount of points get taken off for mostly what I said before. The difficulty scaling, the fact that you can't have 16-player lobbies just in the base game, music repetition, 92 out of 100. That's pretty wild to me. That's higher than my favorite game of all time, Fallout New Vegas. So if you ask me, is this game worth buying? At the $25 price tag, absolutely. And with the occasional, $5 to $10 off sale, it's definitely worth it. I had a lot of fun playing it and plan on continuing to play it in the future, unlike some more expensive games that came out of there. Well, thanks for watching. Until next time. This is a new video series that I've wanted to try for a while. Most of the content I want to make ends up being super long form, so I want to try and challenge myself with creating content that's a little bit shorter and easier to digest. So this video is going to be the first of a series, hopefully, where I review games, good or bad, in less than 10 minutes. If y'all like it, let me know in the comments, or hit the sub button, and I'll try to make more like it. Thanks again, love you all. And hey, my name is StarlightSam. Until